Our favorite wine expert, super wine girl, Angela Aiello is back to talk about wines from the state of Washington. Good morning.
Good morning, Bob. How are you doing today?
Oh, good. Now that you've got brekkie in front of you for us. So that's a nice selection.
Yes.
Yes, cheers. Can't wait till you can get back into the studio when this pandemic thingy is over. But in the meantime, we're taking a virtual trip to Washington. Why is that region unique, geography and climate-wise, for winemaking?
Well, I mean, it's directly to the south of us, located at 46 degrees latitude. I mean, they have 300 days of sunshine a year. It's the Pacific Northwest has this incredible terroir for fabulous wines. And I always say if you really appreciate full-bodied reds, elegant whites, and really fresh reds as well, it's sort of where I fell in love with Cabernet Sauvignon. And I know you're a big fan of,
Yeah.
of red wines, aren't
So
you?
yeah, I am, and so they get a lot of sunshine in that region because I'm looking at Seattle, which I've never
Yes.
visited, but I thought that was similar weather to Vancouver. A
I
lot
think
of
that's
wet.
you bring up a really great point. I think people think about Seattle much like they do Vancouver, very rainy and wet. But as you head over past the mountain range there, you have this amazing terroir, almost desert-like type of experience for grape
Interesting.
growing. And so it is quite different. And the wines from Washington are completely different than the wines from Oregon. That's the other thing I like to teach people about. Oregon really does Pinot Noir, although there is some Chardonnay, wonderful Chardonnay. Actually, I have a Chardonnay here from Washington, but the warmer climate in Washington really lends itself to really elegant red wines.
Okay, well, back to the short Chardonnay. Tell us about that.
Yes, so the Columbia Crest. So I would say if you're into Chardonnay, I mean, Washington State's a place you have to visit for Chardonnay. You've got expert craftsmanship in this wonderful, balanced, elegant shards, and they're not expensive. So you're paying, $20, less than $20 sometimes for a really fabulous wine. So this is a Columbia Crest, one of my favorites, and I'm a huge Chardonnay fan. So Washington Chardonnay is one of my favorites.
And as you mentioned, I'm a Cab Sauvignon guy. So what's this concrete egg thingy,
Oh,
Cab Sauv?
I know. Right, exactly. So old traditional ways of winemaking are back in style. This is me in Washington, actually outside of a concrete egg. And so this wine, the Cosmic Egg, is actually aged in concrete, fermented in concrete, and it brings out the pure fruit expression of the Cabernet. And so this is a really wonderful wine. It's actually made by a gentleman who's known as Mr. Merlot, David Murfield. But it is basically a bit more, what you could say, laid back than Cabernet Sauvignon that's aged in oak.
Okay, where do the Washington State wines come in price-wise?
So they vary, but they are premium. So you are
Hmm.
looking at spending, if you like California wines, this is sort of the next place for you to travel into. The Dixie and Bass, the wines of substance, the Pendulum, or the H3 all sort of land within the, 19 to $30 range. So we are looking at sort of upping that little bit of that price tag, but this is a premium area. And so you're not going to find wines under $10. That's just not going to be
Right.
available to you. I think one of the most affordable wines, they'd make Riesling, a Kung Fu Girl Riesling, which I really love as well. But these memorable labels, I think, really stand out. This looks like the periodic table here for the Cabernet Sauvignon,
Yeah.
which is great. And then, the Dixie and Bass is, I think it's almost sold out at the LCBO right now. So, grab some before it's gone. And I have the Pendulum here opened up, but these wines are perfect if you're having the barbecue, if you're putting on some steak, you've got some, those foods that are a little bit more hefty in style and weight. These are the wines you want to pair with them. They are elegant and fresh, and so you're not going to feel like it's over oaked or anything like this. These are very elegant wines.
Where does Washington State come in status-wise with Napa Valley, for example?
Absolutely. I think, this is the Pacific Northwest, so you have very interesting terroir. I mean, Napa Valley wines can range in price tag. To be honest, they can go up very high, and they can start kind of in the premium level as well. So you do have the same kind of style that's happening in Washington. So if you appreciate Napa Valley wines, you definitely will appreciate the wonderful wines from Washington State and the 19 AVAs that they're coming from as well, which are innovative and changing daily. Actually, I think just this year alone there were 3 new AVAs that opened up, which is the American viticultural areas. So small little areas that are sort of being defined as unique and wonderful.
Yeah, so it's worthwhile as a trip.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm looking forward to finally getting back out
Yeah,
in the
when we can get
plains
back
and
to
out
that.
into wine country. I know this is definitely a trip you want to take.
Oh
I
my
call it a
gosh.
wild wine adventure. There's great people down there. You have a wonderful body of water. The Columbia Valley is just gorgeous. I mean, it is really a beautiful place.
Really interesting part of the world. Thanks for sharing it with us. And the wine. Well, kind of. One day soon, we'll share a glass together. Good to see you, Angela Aiello. We'll link up all your socials at chch.com.